So it is January 9th. Welcome to Team Mountain Strong's call. Thanks for getting on, you guys. So Kelly had actually messaged me and requested that we talk about social media and the kind of like I'm freaked out by it feeling, because likely all of us have had it. If you haven't, then you might have some experience with social media. And I myself didn't. So my coach is Dana, and I followed her. First of all, are there any rank advancements or anything we need to talk about today? So for me, Kat is a new business starter, which is super exciting. And then Nicole earned her ticket to Summit. She's a 2016 success starter, which is pretty awesome. And then Kelly is unofficially earned it, but she did officially earn her second month. So at the end of this month, we'll be able to announce that Kelly won her ticket too. So it's very exciting. I think there's going to be a lot of us at Summit this year, which is going to be so fun. So anyway, that's exciting news. And if you don't know what success starters are, ask your coach, but it's a way to earn your ticket to Summit, which is the big, huge coach event that the last couple of years has been in Nashville. It's been insanely fun, insanely hot for someone who is from Vermont and now the mountains in Colorado. So if you guys are coming to New Orleans this summer, which is where it's going to be in July, make sure you lots of outfits. I pretty much sweat through all of my outfits at Summit the last 2 years, so it's disgusting, and I was nasty. But anyway, so we're going to talk about social media tonight, and I made a bunch of notes. Let me so the first thing, obviously, that I want to talk about is kind of your coming out post, because some of you, let me just try to drink this. Okay. So I can see you guys also. Your coming out post, which if you haven't done it yet, is like, don't freak out about it, but it is a little bit important that you kind of like announce on social media that you're coaching now. And I think the way that it happened for me personally was I finished my 21 days and I posted my before and after results, and just a ton of people started messaging me. And then I just started, like, I just remember if you get into a coach boot camp, which hopefully you newbies will be getting into one this week, but they tell you like to post 3 to 5 times a day on social media, which literally like blew my socks off. I was like, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Like, everybody's going to hide me. I won't have any friends. That's crazy town. So that is what I went into it as. I used to, like, I've always been a runner. That's one of the ways Kelly and I met in high school. We were both on track, and we knew each other anyway. But so I would like literally stress for like an hour before I would like maybe twice a month post something about going for a run. I was like so afraid of people like judging me, and I've always cared way too much what people think about me. So this was like a huge hurdle for me, the whole posting. And how I initially posted, I don't even know, because I posted pictures of me in a sports bra and leggings, like for what felt like the whole world to see. And I just did it. And I honestly don't know what like gave me that bravery, but it's kind of, you just sort of, I think someone told me to like SHIT or get off the pot, and you kind of just have to do it. And so I did. But anyway, so you're a new coach. You never share on social media. How the heck do you like announce that you're coaching? Well, if it sounds too scary and overwhelming for you, then don't think of it as your coming out post, because we think of like coming out as like this super scary thing. Just start posting, and you could even just start hinting at the fact that you're a coach. Like, share like, I mean, like for me, and I don't even think I've ever posted this, but like, I think it would have been really funny to post like, holy crap, I could barely like sit on the toilet today because my legs are so sore. Like, here I was, I thought this like in shape human being, I'd been running, and the first 7 days of 21 Day Fix, I felt like I needed like the bars against the toilet because I like could not get down on the toilet. And like people who have ever started working out can relate to that. So like try to be funny if you have, I'm not like a ridiculously funny person or anything, but you can like try to be funny. I'm insanely serious on Facebook, which drives me crazy. I don't know how to get out of it. It just is like, I'm always super serious, but I try to be funny if I can like weasel it out of myself. But the other things you could post are like a recipe that you're making for the week. Like choose a healthy recipe, something that you made, and show like tonight I made this like Asian slaw salad that Nicole turned me on to. And, you know, I slow cookered some pork with like an onion and an apple all day. It was like the easiest thing ever. Like share something like that, like give value to people, because if people start seeing that you're sharing things that they care about, they're going to start following you and they're going to start liking or commenting your posts. And when they do that, Facebook inputs information and says, make, you know, Nicole show up on Laura's newsfeed more because Laura's liking Nicole's stuff. So then Nicole's all of a sudden going to become more visible on Facebook to me because I've been liking her stuff. So you want people to pay attention and like your stuff. If you have a post up there and you think it's really good and not a single person has liked or commented, message one of us and say, hey, could you shout out my post? And that'll help bring it back into the newsfeed. If you post at a really crappy time, like say 2 p.m. tends to not be so great, nobody will see it. And then Facebook's like, well, that post sucks. And they put it out of the feed and it's like never seen again, basically. If you post at 8 p.m. Eastern time and lots of people are checking their feed after they put their kids to bed, it's going to show up a lot and people are going to like it and comment. For those of you who are moms, post a picture of you working out with your kids. If you're a dog owner, post a picture of you working out with your dog or something. Like try to relate to other people and start thinking about your audience. Start thinking about the people that you want to coach. So for me, I'm a busy mom. I work and I do Beachbody and I take care of my kids every minute that I'm home. So that's a lot of times who I'm speaking to. That's my audience. But if you're a single 20-something woman with a full-time job, but you just like, go out drinking all the time with your friends or whatever, and you've put on 10 pounds, like think of that. That's the person you're speaking to. You're kind of speaking to yourself. Like typically your avatar is what we call it, is you, just not you actually, but it's who you were before you found Beachbody. And then, other things you could do is you could like, if you don't know how to take a screenshot of your computer, but take a picture of yourself on this team call and like, just say like, shout out to my ladies, like so excited to be part of something that, brings me joy and extra money to help pay for my fun activities on the weekend or whatever it may be, like whatever it does for you. If it's not paying you anything yet, it doesn't mean you have to like say what your paycheck is, but you can allude to the fact that it is a way to make money. While helping other people. Let's see. So, and then you can talk about the new friends you're making. Sorry, I have things like popping up in my feed. But that was my first thing. You want to kind of, a great thing to do, we always talk about sitting down and talking about your why. Well, sit down and write down who you're talking to in your post. Because I think that that's like, a lot of times what scares people is that people are going to be turned off by what you write. Well, probably they're not the person you're talking to, like if I had one person, it was a nurse I worked with at the hospital, like wasn't really a friend of mine, but like was a friend of a friend. And I realized like 6 months into coaching or something that she had defriended me. And it was kind of stupid, but I wrote her and I was like, hey, I just noticed we're not friends. Like, did I do something? And she was like, oh no, I see more of you than I do of my family on Facebook and something. And I was like, initially like so hurt, it like totally hurt my feelings. But then I was like, you know what? She's not my audience anyway. Like she wasn't a busy mom. She didn't really care about getting healthy. Like it wasn't my audience. And sometimes you just have to kind of let that go. Like it's hard. There are going to be people that defriend you or hide you. And if that's the case, like those aren't the people you're trying to speak to. Like, what you kind of have to remember is that there are people that write me literally weekly that'll say, I mean, the message I just got that popped up here was like, you're so inspiring. And I didn't read the rest of it because I'm on this call, but there are people that I affect every day that I don't know about that I'm inspiring. And that's what you have to remember. Like, you're working for a greater cause, and you have to kind of let some of the other bull go, I guess. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is that, and you guys can try to interject or post questions if you want to at any point. I don't mind at all. But one of the big things, and I find it hard still, it's just, everything's a learning process, but you want to provide value. So you don't want to just throw up a bunch of garbage just to like be posting. You want to provide value on a daily basis. So if you're providing recipes, if you're providing, sometimes I'll I'll like post a workout that I can do with my kid on my shoulders, or like, a way to keep them occupied while I'm working out, or, Nicole puts a lot of her meal prep on, and she is like one of the more fantastic meal preps I've ever seen. So that's providing a lot of value to people. Or when you provide recipes or anything like that, like people love that kind of stuff. Like, think about when we share recipes to you and they're good, like how excited you get to have a new recipe, something easy to make. So think about like, how do you meal prep? What do you meal prep? How do you exercise with your kids? How do you exercise with your dogs inside on a rainy, crappy day? How do you stick to the plan? Talk about, what the heck is a challenge group? I'll like message people and I'm like, hey, I have another challenge group starting. And they're like, yeah, so wait, what's a challenge group again? And they like have no idea. So talk about what a challenge group is. Talk about what it's done for you to have that accountability, that when it's, today it was like 34 and raining here, which is so rare for it to rain in the winter. How I have a group that I'm held accountable for, and that's why I work out. Share those things with people. Share, want to think about questions that you have, like, how do you afford Shakeology? Think about how you afford Shakeology. Like, if you cut out going to Starbucks, hold on, I'm trying to see this. If you don't take daily vitamins anymore because you drink your Shakeology or whatever it may be, share that with people. Hold on, I was trying to see what you wrote. Yeah, so Kelly was saying everybody isn't a potential coach or customer, but like if you have people who follow your journey and it's like totally not their thing, it doesn't mean they're not going to refer you. If someone's like, I'm thinking about starting Beachbody or 21 Day Fix, and they'll be like, oh, my friend Kelly, I know she does it and she's got a pretty awesome team. Like, do you want me to get you in contact with her? Like, Kelly, for example, before she coached, like set me up with a few different people that had mentioned they wanted to get fit after a baby. And she said, oh, my friend Laura is a coach. Here's her stuff. So just remember that, like, even if the person who is listening or posting on your stuff isn't, have I seen a passy? Can you guys hold on 1 second? Does anyone want to talk for a second? Anybody, feel free to take over for a second. I'm just going to go find a pacifier for my son. Just a sec. Okay.
I can say something. I just think that one of the biggest things that I just sort of had an epiphany about the other day, and Laura was touching on this, was that the whole thing about providing value. And it was on Elizabeth's call where she was saying always run your groups with a servant's heart. So you're always providing something for somebody. So I'm really focusing. Oh, I'm so jealous of that.
I'm sorry.
My God. Oh God, that's awful. Soon. But that really struck a chord with me, the whole servant's heart thing. And then just reading the Miracle Morning, the guy in that book talks about that a lot. Like, are you always trying to authentically help other people, not helping them because you want to help yourself, but actually trying to help people. And this week I actually added 2 people to our Facebook Winning Through Winter group who just wanted motivation, and they didn't buy a challenge pack. They didn't, they're not even enrolled in Beachbody. They're just, like, one woman said, I need to find motivation before I can sign up for something. And I was like, why don't you just silently observe what's going on here and see what happens? So it's that type of stuff. Like, you always want to really be actually trying to help people, not in any sort of way other than just trying to help them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. It's funny because I had someone who was going to sign up this week that I've been talking to for months and months. She's lost like 75 pounds on her own, but she still has 50 pounds to go. And I've always found her really inspiring. And the other day she was like, I just don't think I can do it. Like, I'm going to join some other program online that's $20 a month. And she's like, the monthly thing is just much easier for me than I don't have a credit card and I can't just put $200 out there or whatever. And I was like, all right. And I'm like, well, if you want to join our challenge group anyway, just to have the accountability, because I think that's what a lot of other programs lack, is the like team accountability. And I offered that to her because that's something you can do. Like, you run your challenge groups or you run them with your coach or whatnot. So you have the opportunity to make a difference in their life. And then you never know what's going to happen with them. Maybe they'll join you, maybe they won't, maybe they'll recommend a friend to you, whatever it may be, but you're helping them. And ultimately that is, our mission is to help decrease obesity, help to have health, like more healthy humans, so I think that's a really good point, Kelly, and that's the whole idea with I definitely struggle with it myself. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know what to post, and so I just throw up crap, and I throw up crap of my kids all the time, which is like, if you're a parent, it's super easy because I also use Facebook for my family and they love seeing my kids, so that's I have that out of still being visible. But I think it's okay too, if you work 9 to 5 every day, if you want to show somebody you can be a Beachbody coach and you can post at 7 in the morning and you can post at 6 at night, and that's fine. I've been in other like coach trainings where people say, oh, you have to post 5 times a day and blah, blah, blah. Well, there are successful coaches that are full-time, that have full-time jobs. So you don't have to post 5 times a day to be a successful coach. That's not true. And, Ellie Riley too she's gotten really good at posting on Facebook, but for the first probably 9 months that she was a coach, she didn't post very much at all. She was very afraid of it. And she had, a few hangups about her diabetes. She had a few hangups about her husband's, family or friends. Like, we all have those things, and she's gotten over it, but she also made an impact on a lot of people without Facebook. So you can. But to say that you can just completely not use Facebook, I don't think is realistic either, especially as you grow your network, unless you're growing it physically out in the community, which, like, I live in a really small community, so it's just not really possible for me. So anyway, I just like to use the example though, because if you're freaked out, I still have more to talk about, but basically if you're freaked out, you kind of just have to get over yourself. Like, you're not that important. Nobody cares that much. If you are inspiring people, they're going to actually care more. Like, no one's sitting at home worrying about how many selfies you're going to post. Like, my insecurity, I feel like sometimes is almost egocentric, because I'm like, people don't really care that much about what I post. You know what I mean? Like, they're not sitting at home talking about me, so it takes a little while. And I know that's not how you guys, like, it's not really egocentric, but it is, to think that everybody is like basing anything on you. But if you inspire them, it might inspire them to change. So I think that that's more important to me at this point. And I've had very, very few, at least outward haters since I started 21 months ago, but you will have them, and there'll be people that stop following you. Luckily, I don't check that often to, I have more friends than I can't go check and see who's unfollowed me or defriended me or whatever. So anyway, I know everybody wants to be inspiring, and it's very, very tempting to post like inspirational photos and I, with quotes or whatever. And I think that can be really good, but I think that you need to do it with you in it, whether it's you and your kids or you on a run or you from behind. If you guys can see the way my face is in this photo right now, where there's this much space. Can you guys see that? Hopefully you have the same view of me. That's like a great way to take a selfie where then I could put a text here, overwrite my photo with text where it's not blurring my face, but it's like my face and then telling part of a story versus me just putting up some random, somebody else's photo with a inspirational quote over it. People, you want your photos on Facebook to be like showstoppers, scroll stoppers. They need, people are just scrolling through their phones. I do it. I'm just as guilty as everybody else. You want them to be like, oh, and stop the photo. Whether you're making a crazy face, like I still am not very good at that because I am not, but making a crazy face, whatever you want to do, like stop the scroll. So, any of us can go to Google and put inspiration in and get like 5 million hits on different inspirational quotes or messages. So instead of them doing that, have it be your face and a message next to you or a silly face or a workout pose, whatever it may be, and have it be something that speaks to you. And think about why somebody would start following you and maybe speak to that. Like if it's, moms with no time, I might do inspirational quotes about like, if not now, when, or like the example I'm setting for my children, something like that. The other thing we have to talk about, which I think people hate sometimes, is before and afters. Like if you don't have them yet, share your coaches, share your friends, share someone on this team. Most of us are willing to share before and after photos with you if you don't have them to share yet. But people freaking love before and after pictures. Like it is, we have like Motivation Monday, Transformation Tuesday, Workout Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, whatever you want to do. Share something. Like sometimes I'll share, Kelly Spencer is probably going to have some kick-ass photos for us all to be sharing all over the place in a few months, right? Nicole, who just had a baby 4 months ago, has amazing before and afters to share. If you want, I'm shouting you out, Nicole, I'm sorry, to share. She has an amazing transformation to share that's super inspiring to postpartum moms. We have a lot of women on our team that one of Natasha Eckhart, who Kelly and I all went to school with, she has a ridiculous transformation in the last 18 months. And I asked her today, I'm like, can I share those? There's a Woman Crush Wednesday, WCW, where you can shout out like a woman that you quote unquote have a crush on. Like there's so many cutesy things you can do to share like the way that Beachbody has changed somebody's life. It doesn't have to be yours. Like you are going to be more impactful to your audience, obviously, but if you don't have those to share yet, find somebody else who does. So that's like one huge thing, obviously. And then I kind of already talked about it. These are my notes I'm looking through. Sorry, but post with a purpose. Like I said, don't just throw stuff up there. Think of go through your Facebook messages, go through your conversations via text with friends who have asked you questions and answer them on Facebook. If someone says, I'm so busy. Like my brother is always like, I don't have time to meal prep. So I start sharing about the easiest, tastiest meals you can make on Sundays that'll last you through Thursday or whatever it may be, like crock pot meals, fast things that you can make and put on a salad. Like answer your audience's questions globally, publicly, so that other people can see the answers. Because if your friend or your parent or your boyfriend or whatever has that question, surely somebody else does too. So answer those questions. More things to post on Facebook. The other thing, if you guys are not reading personal development and if you don't know what to read, reach out to any one of us, your coach, to me, whomever. A lot of times my one Christmas present, I got this, we don't like do much for Christmas, like for adults. I got a little, like a little tape recorder that has a little card in it or whatever. So when I'm listening to personal development in the car, I can stop and voice record stuff that I'm hearing, because I get a lot of my inspiration for posts on personal development, and I travel for work. So I happen to be in the car a lot. And instead of, I think I'm like copying this on my phone because I just pressed a button. Instead of taking up stuff on my phone, I got this little thing it was $50 or whatever, that I'm going to now start recording my post ideas on, so that I can play it back, when I get to Denver or wherever, and have ideas for my posts. So the other thing, if I'm reading, I use a highlighter. I've heard some coaches who will read their personal development next to their computer and take notes while they're doing it, but you'll get really, really great inspiration from things that you're reading that inspire you. You'll start thinking about like, oh, I need to like share this with my Facebook audience because they could use this. This is valuable to other people. And like, 95% of the population does not do personal development. So if you can offer value by sharing pieces of what you've learned through personal development with them, that's huge. I mean, if you think about, I never once did personal development for Beachbody, so that's like a huge thing it has brought to my life. Are you guys getting bored? Do you want me to keep going?
Laura?
Yeah?
One thing on the personal development thing, I was like, I think probably up until last week, one of those eye rollers at it.
Uh-huh.
And I was like trying to like be like, yeah, I'll do it. And it was just like, I couldn't, I was struggling. And then after
here's my wine, screw you.
What's that?
I said, here's my wine, screw you.
So soon. I told Noah he has to like bring a bottle into the hospital for me.
Yeah, totally.
So I was like the biggest eye roller at it. And then after Elizabeth's call and like with my like initial motivation of just like being able to possibly go back to me part-time to work and like wanting to make money off of it, where she was saying like, just like read this book if no others, and it was that Miracle Morning one.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. And I like within 2 days, I'm 3/4 of the way through it. I'm obsessed with it, and I posted just that one post about just like, do you want to be the same person you wake up as every single day, or like, what are you doing? And I think it got like 20 likes or something, but it had 35 comments on it, which has never happened for a post from me before. Like people weren't even liking it. They just wanted to talk. And then they got so much more traction that Kat and I started talking about it on the actual Winning Through Winter challenge group page. So many other people were so into it that we're actually going to create a freebie off of it and just do like a different site. And then it was really funny because one person who commented on it, I didn't realize he's like this pseudo famous motivational speaker who is like this teacher guy who I just randomly friended. It was like my sister-in-law, a connection with him, and I just went through her Facebook feed and just friended all of her people.
Yeah.
And she like messaged me. She's like, how do you know that guy? And I was like, I don't know who he is. And she's like, he's like famous in teaching world. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's joining our little like freebie challenge group. So it's just funny things like that, like the personal development thing. You have to just find what the right one is for you.
It has to speak to you.
Like grabbing anything, being like, okay, let me read this book. I guess it's good, but you have to figure out what the right ones are for you. And the right ones for me are things that I like physically take action on. So that was really interesting and eye-opening for me. So I know I'm going to keep going with this, but it just took that sort of slap in the face to figure it out.
Right. And something that speaks to you, it's interesting that you say that because I've talked about it before, but Dana, like as my team had started to grow just a little bit, when I just had like a couple people under me, Dana's like, oh, you need to read this leader's book. I forget now how many laws, but it's like the 21 laws of irrefutable leadership or the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership or something like that. And I bought it and I was like so bored. Like it wasn't speaking to me at all. I'm like, I don't know why you love this book, Dana, but I just don't love it. And then Kelly recommended this book to me called Tribes, and I freaking love it. Like it's totally speaks more to me and like my feeling of my tribe, and maybe the laws of leadership will eventually, you know, speak to me, but it didn't at the time. So you definitely need to find, like I have a lot of books that I have on Audible or on my Kindle or just in my, you know, in my room that I haven't finished because they weren't speaking to me enough at the time. Like you need to find something that you can't put down, because there are books that will feel that way to you. And like The Universe Has Your Back was my most recent one that I like was completely obsessed with. And then on Audible, I listened to a book called Mastering Your Mean Girl. And part of it was I was like, I had such a crush on the woman that read it. Like she has a, I think, Australian accent, and she just was like, she just has this most amazing voice, and I loved listening to it. So you just have to find things that like work for you and speak to you. The other thing that, this is completely not related, but just before I forget, a couple of things, because we only have 7 minutes left, but one really good way to get traction on posts is to do, like even Kelly Spencer, you could do like, and you don't have to listen to the, I mean, you don't have to care, but like Kelly posted a comment about, or a picture of the going home outfit. You could post 2 going home outfits and say, do you like A or B for the baby's going home outfit? And like 50,000 people will comment, because people like to give their opinion, especially when it's a choice. Like, you know, we're going to the leadership, Kelly Riley, like post 2 different dresses and say, which dress do you like better? And you'll get so much freaking traction on posts that you put, do you like A or B, or A, B, or C? Like I've done it with haircuts before, dresses, shoes. People freaking love to give their opinion. So that's a really good way, because now the point of this, if you're new, is that Facebook follows your numbers. So if you are getting posts that have a lot of traction, they're going to start like recycling your posts more, and you'll get more traction, period. Okay, great. They'll start. Okay, great. They'll start cycling your posts more. So there are, you know, formulas, all that kind of stuff, but you want to get traction regularly on your posts on Facebook in order for Facebook to think that you're worth it, to think that you're not, that sounds horrible, but that you're worth the energy for them to put your post, you know, because they have to keep recycling your post out into the news. And then a couple other just little things before I end, but I did a post recently about, I started my new job 6 weeks ago, and initially the first like 4 shifts, like I was trying to be super strong, but my preceptor was like a man, which is totally fine, but men oftentimes think differently than women. And he was like Mr. like critical, like every single thing. It was criticism, criticism, criticism. And he wasn't saying anything really positive to me. And I'm definitely like a person who thrives off of positive feedback, positive reinforcement. It's part of why I love this community so much, because I get a lot of it from it. But the old me would never say that. Like I would just have quit basically, or just felt horrible. Anyway, I ended up like night 4, I told him, I was like, hey dude, like I'm not a guy. This is not working for me. Like it's fine for you to tell me the things I need to work on, but I need a little love too. So I ended up sharing this on Facebook, this story, and like, you just never ever know who your posts are reaching. This person whose friend had committed suicide that day wrote me, and because in my story I said, speak up for what you need, speak up for how you're feeling, and like suicide was the very last thing on my brain, obviously. Like that is very far from where I am or have ever been, thankfully. But it spoke to her because she saw that her friend never spoke up and never reached out. And she said, like, I needed to hear your post more than anything. I'm grateful for you. You inspire me regularly, blah, 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 whatever it was. But just like know that you reach people on a regular basis who may not reach out to you, who may not tell you that your post meant something to them. But like, it's not just about like sticking sweaty selfies up there and saying like, look at my muscle. Like, it's about reaching people and connecting with people and making a difference. Like, as cheesy as that may sound, like, it really does make a difference for a lot of people. So know that like your cause is bigger. As much as we talk about formulas and Facebook strategy and all that kind of stuff, it's really all for a bigger purpose. So to remember that. And then my last three closing things are to be real, be honest, and be authentic. And I don't think I've ever like heard or used the word authentic so much since I've been within Beachbody, but it's like very, very important to you. It's fine to follow coaches and to follow Kelly or Nicole or me and be inspired by our posts, but then bring it to you and be authentically you, because you're going to touch someone a way that I can't. So I guess that's what you guys have to do, is just like stop thinking of Facebook as like this social avenue of like, you know, impressing or not impressing people, and think of it as your venue to reach people in whatever way you want to. Yeah. And that's kind of, I guess, my closing thought on it. I don't know if that's what you guys wanted or expected from the call, but yeah, Kelly Spencer just said, treat it like a diary. And that's like what you have to do. It is super, some of the stuff I post, like I had a post once where I posted about, you know, I struggled with eating disorders. I still have a tendency to binge occasionally. It's not very often, but, and much less so now that I'm further in on this journey, but I posted about how if there was like a package of chocolate bars in my house and I like literally ate them all and hid the wrappers in the trash because I didn't want my husband to know about it. Like, I felt embarrassed, and I shared it on social media, and then I thought I was going to vomit the entire way to work. It was so scary, but it touched other people. And I know there are other people out there that do that, you know, that like want a way out, that want to stop doing that. And like the frequency in which I do something like that is way less than what it used to be. So just think about it as your diary as one, and then as your way to help other people. Like, you being vulnerable and sharing vulnerability helps other people to know that they're not alone in their struggles. Other people have them, whatever it may be. If you are 105 pounds and you think your thighs are big, somebody else is there too. You're not the only one. So share it. That's my soapbox. Anybody have questions? Does anybody want to talk?
Laura, I was just going to say, I know, like, as Laura was saying, when we do post, it's so important to make it about us. Like, my posts are usually always about family, diabetes, like something. That's just my niche. But I do think in the beginning, because I was so fearful, as Laura said, like I was like shaking to the core for months. Like, I would never post anything, and she would try so hard and talk to me and be so nice about it, and I would just like totally put roadblocks up. I feel so bad. Sorry, Laura. But I was so bad about it.